became aware of Kevin Gianni like most of you, kind of internet surfing. You see this really cool name or URL, Renegade Health. It fits, it feels right. You're like, okay, I resonate with that. I'm a renegade, right? So, and you're not sure what you're gonna expect, so you push play on the first video, and there's just like totally normal people. Like Kevin and Anne-Marie are just, they could be your, they could completely be your, well, in the raw food movement, you know what I'm saying, right? So, y'all were at the expo, right? No, I'm just kidding. So they're these wonderful, down-to-earth, you could run into them at the store, and all over the country right now, a lot of people are running into you at the store because they're on tour all over the country. In fact, I had a neighbor, last time they were at my house, email them at Renegade Health and say, are you actually parked on my street right now? So some neighbor came walking down the street knocking on the door. So I started watching the videos, I subscribed, I started getting bombarded by emails, but it was worth it because they were charming and what they had to offer was amazing, and you could tell they were really on to doing something innovative and useful, and you wanted to forward those videos to your friends, and you wanted to be in on the calls they were arranging. And one of those calls that I was fortunate enough to be on was a call on how to be a leader in the natural health movement. I was probably one of about 400 or 500 people on this call. It was an amazing call. I did not stop taking notes the entire time. And at the end of the call, and I was a little annoyed with this at first, but you could tell he was leading up to the point of the call, which was he was about to sell something. And he was gonna sell the idea of a private mentorship program. So he was just starting to kind of pitch the idea that he was gonna work with 10 people. And as he's talking, and I'm going in my mind, okay, he's not mentioning the price, this is bad. Turned out not to be bad at all. But even though when I didn't know, I was inching closer to my computer, and my hands were kind of like sneaking up to the keyboard, and I'm thinking, what are you doing, Shea? Have some self-control, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And he's like, and I can only take the first 10 people, and my hands are on the keyboard, and he says, and here's the URL. And I can't type, but boom, if I had it typed in, boom, congratulations. You're one of the first 10 people. In fact, I was one of the first 5 people, which comes with an instant best friendship, I think, is what ended up happening here. Or actually a permanent parking spot outside my house.
A permanent parking spot, yeah.
But over the year, I've had the privilege of not only working with him in that mentorship capacity, so I know the value of the information he has to give. I know how generous he is. I know the integrity that he works with, and along the pathway, and I know I'm going on way too long, but I like to give him a good intro. Along the pathway, I've had the most amazing opportunity to become friends with both Kevin and Anne-Marie and host them several times along the way, and get to know them as people, not just icons on my internet screen, and the value of all of that is beyond words, and I'm not going to tear up, I promise. So do you have anything to say to that before we start the questions?
Wow.
Yeah, wow. That was it?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm excited to be here. I'm sitting down, so you guys are going to get a whole different experience. You guys, who has been to one of my talks before standing up? When I was standing up, not you standing up. It's an hour, so it's like, it's tough to stand up for an hour. But yeah, it's gonna be a different experience. I'm excited about this.
Okay, so questions for Kevin. Let's just start with the basic. How did you get started in the health world at all?
All right, cool. Here we go. I'm gonna talk like this. What do you think? Is that good?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Real like intimate kind of thing. Well, I think the purpose of this talk is to kind of share some information that I've learned the hard way, and I want to make it easy. Because what I've seen over time is I've seen a lot of people who really want to make a difference in the world. And now you don't need to be a health practitioner, you don't need to be just about anything. A lot of these principles that I'm going to talk about today is how you can be a leader in just about anything that you do. And I've seen too many people struggle, really. We're from Connecticut, and we see a lot of people who go to the Integrative School of Nutrition. Do you guys know where that is, Integrative School of Nutrition? No? Okay. It's a big school in New York. They bring in a lot of speakers, and they actually do teach people how to get out and become leaders in their own field, in the nutrition field. And a lot of times what happens is they try really, really hard, and and they try a lot of things that may not be the right things to do, and eventually they fail, and sometimes they go back to their old jobs, things that they didn't like at all. And that to me is pretty sad, because I think that we're all here to do something very important, and we're all here to spread whatever sort of message that we have, and we need to do it in a way that's effective and actually reaches people and actually allows you to make a little bit of money doing it. Otherwise, you can't give people, like, show people how to do a lotus pose to the mortgage broker. They're just gonna be like, no, this doesn't work. You can try, and it might work for a little bit. So anyway, how we got started was, I was working for a real estate company. I was doing construction management. Anne-Marie was working for a physical therapy office. I was always into health and fitness, well, more so fitness than health. And I ran a marathon, never having run 10 miles before in my life. For those of you out there who have ever ran before, or maybe even not ran, that's a big mistake. But I actually injured myself, and I call that a blessing, because I managed to go to the physical therapy office where Anne-Marie worked. I'd never met her before. And, long story short, she respected the client-patient, thing. So we waited until after. I waited until after we were done with my therapy to ask her out. But anyway, I was doing the real estate, and I wasn't really enjoying it at all. Who here has been in a situation where they weren't enjoying what they were doing on a regular basis? All right, good. We're talking to the right crowd. So what I did was I said to Anne-Marie one day, I said, hey, let's start a personal training business. We know all these people in the health field. We all know all these people in fitness, because Anne-Marie worked with a lot of orthopedic surgeons, a lot of physical therapists. Like, they're just going to throw us clients. That's what I said to her, right, Anne-Marie? Throw us clients. Like, toss them. Like, literally, they were going to be breaking down our door. That's what I thought. And so what happened was this. I quit my job, and Anne-Marie was very scared. Who here has done something that has caused a spouse to be scared before? I know. And so I said, you know what, don't worry, we'll make it happen. And I had known about the fitness, and I had actually, I had been into fitness, and so I took a personal training certification course and started to see clients, in theory, because you actually need clients in order to see them, right? But I was seeing clients, and I was sure of it. We went to a dinner party with my mom, and my mom is, number one, the only vegan who eats meat 5 times a week. And so we went to a dinner party. Just thought I'd throw that in, Mom, if you're watching. But what we did was we went to the dinner party, and we sat down, and she actually pulled Anne-Marie aside. This is when we first started to get to know each other. And she pulled Anne-Marie aside, and she said, you know what, don't worry about this personal training thing. He'll come back to Earth one day soon and get a real job. Now, I get pretty fired up when I hear things like that, right? I don't like to hear no, I don't like to hear anything like that. So I said, wow, we got to really make this happen. But what was happening was the month was getting shorter, and the revenue was not coming in, because I didn't know what to do in order to get clients. I assumed that the connections that Anne-Marie had made would bring in personal training clients. Just assumed that they would just come in, because we knew what we were talking about. Anne-Marie had been working with Division I athletes. I mean, that's a selling point, and I thought that it would happen, but it didn't, and the month got shorter and shorter and shorter. One day, I sat down with Anne-Marie, and I said, we have to take care of this. And I was very frightened, because she was scared to begin with, so I didn't want to give her too much of an idea that maybe I was a little scared. So I said, we'll just send out a mailer to all the rich neighborhoods in our area, because we lived in Fairfield County, Connecticut, and it's a very wealthy and affluent area. And so Anne-Marie said, that sounds like a good idea. She's like, where are we going to get money for postage? I said, I don't know. So I don't know where we're going to get it. So what we decided to do, and this is highly illegal, so I don't recommend to do this, we decided to pack all the envelopes that we had with a little flyer that we put in. We drove all around the neighborhoods, and we just stuffed these mailers into each mailbox. Now, thinking back in terms of an accounting side, the accounting side of it, I do believe that we probably spent more money in gas driving around the neighborhoods than we would have if we had actually just mailed the things out. But we actually didn't get any clients from that, so I got a little more concerned. And what happened after that was this. I had learned about a little secret about Google. And so a friend of mine had told me about this, and I said, maybe I'll give it a shot. I'm going to tell you the secret later, but I just want to tell you that there's a secret that I'm going to share with you. And so I tried this little secret, and literally, within 2 days, a woman called me and said, I want personal training. And I was like, this is my first lead, right? I was like, okay, yeah, I'm a personal trainer. What do I do? And I had this list of questions that I would ask someone who called, and so I went through the questions.